All right, we're live. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Ubuntu Engineering Live. This is a broadcast that we do every 2 weeks to give you an update on what various people in the engineering side of Canonical are doing. Um, we also take questions live from you, so if you're watching this on ubuntuonair.com, you'll see our smiling faces on the video, and then right below us, you'll see a IRC window where you can log in to our chat room and ask us questions there. If you have your own IRC client, that chat room is on Freenode. It is hash ubuntu-on-air. You can jump in there and chat with the other people who are watching and ask us questions. If you have a question for us, any of us, you can ask it any time. Start it with the word question in all capital letters. That way we get a nice highlight and we don't miss it. We'll come back and we'll take them in the order that they come in. Um, you can ask us anything at all about phone, cloud, desktop. We'll answer to the best of our knowledge. There's only 3 of us on here today, so there may be things that are outside of what we really know a lot about, in which case we'll tell you who to talk to and where to find them. And again, ask questions anytime, and we'll come back to them as we go. So to start us off today, Alan's going to give us an update from the core apps.
Hello, I hope you can hear me okay. So we're building up to, or we have been building up to a stable image that we wanted to release to our phone partner. And so we've been cautious about landing some of the core apps in the store. Some of the core apps are default on the phone, in the phone images, and some of them are not. Some of them are just in the store that you can install yourself. And the ones that are on the phone by default, we have to be, really careful of, because that affects the out-of-the-box experience for people who might go and buy the phone. So some of the apps haven't changed a huge amount recently in the store, but the developers are continuing to work on features and land new features over the last few weeks. So to give you an idea of some of those, the Reminders app we've been testing offline capability quite extensively. That hasn't landed in the store yet because it's quite a chunky change to the app, and we don't want to break it this close to the gold image, if you like. But we're still doing some testing on that, and we should land that soon. Stefano's been working on the dock viewer. So the dock viewer is an app that's not currently on the phone by default. I'd like it to be in the future, but it's got a few things missing. So once we get those things sorted out, we'll aim to maybe have that as a default app because it's super useful. So the dock viewer you can use to view PDF files, text files, and images and so on. And Stefano's been working very hard on that. And he's implemented some interesting features that do multi-core rendering of PDF files. So, for example, when you're swiping through a document, one of your phone cores will be rendering the next page, and then another core will be rendering the 2 pages on, and then another core will be rendering 3 pages on, so that as you scroll through, the pages are already ready to load as you scroll through the document, which is really quite cool. And also, he's been improving performance with zooming. He's added a really nice feature that allows you to see past history of documents. So rather than you having to go and find the downloaded file that you've downloaded, it's just a nice view of most recently opened files. I think that'll come in quite useful for people who are doing things like downloading a PDF of an online check-in for a flight or something. You can open it in the PDF viewer, and it's going to be in your recent file. So you just open the PDF viewer and open the document because you want fast access to the documents at the time when you want to open them. So there's some good stuff landing in Doc Viewer, and I'm hoping we'll have that all sorted and landed in the store soon enough. The calculator has also had a bunch of fixes and some UI improvements. The guys have been working hard on that. Bartos, Ricardo, and some other people have been involved in the calculator app. mostly to do with the redesign and adding additional features like being able to favorite calculations and landscape view as well. So now with the calculator, when you're in portrait, you get a normal basic calculator where you swipe left and right to view the scientific functions, the additional features. But if you turn the phone sideways, then you see all of the buttons. And we had a little bit of a challenging feat to get it all to fit on the screen on smaller devices. But that should be becoming the default soon as well. The music app developers have got a new version landing very soon. They've added some features, some UI changes, and a few bug fixes. That should be landing in the store hopefully this week. We need to do a bit more QA on that before we land it in the store. Calendar's been updated. A really nice feature's been developed, which allows you to grab hold of events in your calendar and just move them around. So rather than you having to tap on an item in your calendar and then go into edit mode and then edit the item, it's a really nice feature that Kunal's developed to you just like hold your finger down on an event in your calendar and it becomes highlighted, and then you can drag it somewhere else. So it's really good for just moving meetings around and shuffling your calendar directly on the device and then synchronizing that back to the cloud. That we're still doing a bit of testing on that. I did some testing in it and it works really nicely. We'll land that soon. The weather app is getting a reboot. It's quite interesting. I went to FOSDEM at the weekend in Brussels and met one of the weather developers for the first time. So a lot of these core apps developed by people all around the world, and some of them I've never met. And I got the opportunity to meet up with Martin at FOSDEM, and it was quite nice to put a phone in front of him and say, hey, look, that's the stuff you've been developing, thank you. And yeah, it was quite exciting to meet him. So the weather app is being updated as well. UI is changing quite a bit, and we're working on that. That's not quite finished yet. Terminal, we replaced the existing terminal with the terminal reboot, and found a couple of interesting bugs there. So we'll be updating the terminal in the store shortly. And finally, File Manager it's pretty stable actually. There's a few feature requests we've been getting recently, and one of them that probably nobody will have noticed, but I noticed, which is we have a list of places, bookmarks or shortcuts to your common directories, and that's pre-populated with a certain set of places, and we had a bug where lots and lots of places were showing far too many than you should see, and that got fixed this week. So that was nice to see. It's got a nice little shortcut that lets you get to your SD card, for example, and that works really nicely. So we'll land that in the store shortly as well. Finally, the email client that's being worked on is called Deco, and I'm going to send an email to the phone list a little later with a version that we'd like people to test out. It's not really robust enough to go in the store for everyone. We thought we'd ask some early adopters to test that out. So I'll send a mail a little bit later to the Ubuntu phone list with details of where you can get the click package and how you can install it and test it out. It's really nice. They've done a lot of work, and it's coming along really well for a little mobile client that based off the work that the Trajita developers did. It's really coming along in leaps and bounds. So look forward to hearing some feedback about that. And I think that's everything.
All right. Yeah, I've been using the latest version of Deco for a little while now, and it is a big improvement on what was there, and what was there was already very good.
Yeah,
I think
viewing your emails is much better than it was, which is your primary use for using an email client on a phone is basically to view your email. So
yeah,
that's really improved a lot.
All right. So how was FOSDEM?
Yeah, it was awesome. It was good to see. Really intensive. A couple of thousand people there, and loads of talks. It was just a mad rush from one talk to the next to get yourself in the right room, and some of the rooms were just completely densely packed. Savik gave a talk about Ubuntu phone there, and he actually spent only a very short while talking about the phone, because I think most people already knew the high level details, but spent more time answering questions from the audience. And he got loads of like interesting and a couple of invasive questions about the phone from the audience. That was really quite good, and it was quite a packed room as well. And all the talks were videoed, so they'll be online later.
Awesome. All right, keep those questions coming in. We'll get back to them when we're done with our updates. So we'll move on now to Lucas.
Yeah, I had to find the mute button. Hello everyone. So today I'll just make a really quick update of what's happening in the Ubuntu Touch world regarding, well, from the landing team's perspective, because that's our main focus right now. So it's probably to wait for others to give updates from the desktop side. So we had a big release, a big milestone release happening last week for Ubuntu RTM. Ubuntu RTM is the so-called stable channel for Ubuntu Touch that we're using right now. It's based off the 1409 series, so that's something that we branched off early. So anyone that wants to have a really stable phone should probably use the stable channel or the 1409 Ubuntu Touch channel from RTM. So we had a big release that was very important for our clients last week, and we were really happy with the end result. We had from what the testing that QA made, the image was really good in comparison to the other ones, to the previous ones actually. So many of the critical issues that we had that have been reported throughout the months of usage of Ubuntu RTM have been fixed, and well, basically it's a really stable image to try. So whoever didn't see the updates yet or didn't hear the announcements, well, try out the new Ubuntu RTM 1409 or Ubuntu RTM stable images as soon as possible. So this week and for the nearest weeks, we'll be doing some experiments on Vivid now. We're still sticking with providing promotions and actual milestone releases for Ubuntu RTM, but we're also trying to prepare ourselves for a switch to Vivid, because the current Ubuntu RTM distribution, it's well, one might say it's a little bit outdated. It's not outdated because we're submitting fixes all the time, but the backbones of Ubuntu RTM right now, the 1409 distributions, are from around from around 1410. So to say, we started this distribution, this derived distribution, actually before actually releasing 1410. So it would be nice to have it updated to the latest development release as soon as possible. To do that, we need to make sure that Vivid actually is good enough to be well, our stable representative of our Ubuntu Touch images. So QA is now performing tests on Vivid and trying to catch all the most critical issues that need to be addressed before we can do a switch of Ubuntu RTM to a Vivid-based image. It won't be Vivid, just so you know. Vivid will continue development as it is right now. It will continue to be filled with experimental features, but we want to find one moment in time where we will do branching again and use this Vivid-based image as our new Ubuntu RTM channel, so to say. So yeah, we might have some results pretty soon, and there were some worrying messages from QA, but we're still waiting for the final results and see how much work we need to do before we can do that switch. So we're trying also to, well, those of you that read the Ubuntu Phone mailing list, we are sending out daily emails, daily landing emails, in which we try to summarize what was happening in overall during the landing shift for that particular day. So we also try to include now more information about what interesting changes landed on Ubuntu Touch. So depending on how much stuff was going on and how busy we are, this might not be as detailed as it could be, but we're improving that so the landing emails aren't so boring for people that are not developers, because previously we were mostly targeting developers and including information about what's going on with the landing infrastructure, what are the problems with the image builds right now. But besides that, we also want to include some information that just users might be interested in. So, well, try to check out the next emails that we send out. Maybe you'll know what we're working on recently, what has landed from the interesting things that the developers are working on, and things like that. So getting back to Ubuntu RTM, because as I mentioned, I'll be talking about Ubuntu Touch mostly, because that's our focus right now. The Ubuntu RTM will still have, as I mentioned, promotions that will be happening on a 2-week basis. So every 2 weeks we have a milestone planned in which we intend to do the big image testing to make sure that the images are well, good enough for a stable release, and we'll be releasing those images every 2 weeks for users to upgrade their phones. So basically what this means is that if you want to have a really stable phone, then just use the Ubuntu RTM stable channel, because you will get updates every 2 weeks at least. And at least this way you'll know that whenever you upgrade your phone, you're not risking that the phone is bricked and you need to reflash for the cable, because that's basically what can happen with development images. So just so we know that this actually happened, and this is a normal thing, because development needs to continue, and sometimes some errors creep in. So every 2 weeks, a new milestone. The next one is next week already planned. So there should be a new update around Friday next week, available for stable channel users. In the meantime, Timo is back, and he's one of the main persons responsible for Qt 5.4 preparation. So we have him back already, but in the meantime we also were able to help out a little bit with Qt 5.4. We plan to include it in Vivid before feature freeze. We actually wanted to have 5.4.1 in Vivid as well, but it's, from what I know, at the beginning of the week it wasn't still released. So this might be something for a little bit later date. For now, we're trying to get 5.4 working on Ubuntu, both on the desktop and on touch. Packages are building correctly now. I'm not sure if we have any errors in the reverse dependencies currently, but so far things are looking really good. Timo is doing some more testing on our touch devices to make sure that everything is working smoothly, and yeah, we might have this new Qt version pretty soon. And it's always best to be up to date with what Upstream is doing. This way we'll have all the fixes that they're submitting available for the desktop and touch users. So we might have it released in the nearest weeks, we think at least. And I guess that's more or less it. One just notice, but that's a notice more for like developers. Everyone, for normal users, it's not something interesting. So we still have a little bit of some infrastructure problems with the CA train. We're trying to fix those because we had a big migration happening last week, and there are still a few loose screws here and there that need to be screwed in, so to say. So, but this should be fixed pretty soon, and so far things are landing normally. But well, sometimes landers might see strange things happening with their silos, but that's just temporary. And I think that's it.
All right, thank you. So the BQ phones that are coming out, they're going to get over-the-air updates for the latest RTM releases, right? The 2 weeks releases you were talking about?
For normal phones, for the normal main phones, we plan to have monthly over-the-air updates, official monthly over-the-air updates. We're doing those in two bi-weekly, so to say, releases, so that we have also time to actually properly test every change before sending it out to the users. But the main plan is to have official OTAs once per month, not two per month.
Okay. And will those phones, do you know, will they eventually be OTA updated to Vivid?
Yes, eventually, I suppose yes, but this we'll have to probably wait a little bit, because from our initial plans, the first two OTAs will be most probably still 1409 based. Because this is a big switch. We need to be 100% sure that we have all the fixes from Ubuntu RTM in Vivid, and that those Vivid images work perfectly fine as the Ubuntu RTM ones do. Because the Ubuntu RTM ones are still a little bit more stable than Vivid. So.
And I wouldn't expect an official Vivid update until actually Vivid release date. So.
Yeah. Yes, this is. We're not. Well, this might be the thing that happens. I'm not sure if we want to do it before the official Vivid release. As I mentioned, if we would do this switch from Ubuntu RTM 1409 to Vivid, we would do it by not just starting to use Vivid instead of Ubuntu RTM, but we would just take the current snapshot of Vivid, create an Ubuntu RTM version based off Vivid from that moment of time, and do the same thing that we're doing for 1409 right now. So we'll have probably that will be called like 1503. I'm just guessing here. This is just my guess, but this is what we would probably do, because otherwise we would have to block the development of new features, risky features that Vivid is basically for, and we don't want to break that workflow for normal developers.
Yeah, my main reason for asking was just to let everybody know that the BQ phones are going to be updated to the latest versions of Ubuntu as they become available. Because I know people who have had Android devices, that's a big concern for them. A lot of them have gotten stuck on old versions.
No, we don't intend to do that. We intend to keep all our devices up to date and well, in sync with the latest development as much as we can, of course.
All right. Thank you, guys. All right, I've got a couple of updates, and then we'll get to the questions. So first of all, as I mentioned, we've got these BQ phones coming out, and in fact, those are going to start landing in people's hands this week. We've got an event going on in London this weekend. You've probably heard people talking about it, where a small batch of the BQ phones are going to be given to people to get an early look and give us some early feedback before the main production line starts putting them out. So this week should start seeing some pictures and videos of people actually getting their handsets, and then I think next week or the week after they should go on sale on BQ's website. So looking forward to that, and I just wanted to say congratulations to everybody who's been involved in developing this, the platform and the apps and everything. I know a lot of people have put in a lot of time and a lot of hours into this, and it really shows. So big congratulations to all of them. We have Scale 13X coming up in Los Angeles in 2 weeks. I just wanted to let everybody know that several people from Canonical and the Ubuntu community will be there. There will be an Ubuntu booth. We'll have, I think, one of the orange boxes showing off some cloud stuff. I know we've got Jose and George and Marco are going to be there showing off cloud demos during the event. We're going to have some phones, some Nexus 4 phones at the booth, so if people want to come by and play with them, we'll have that there. We might have some of the BQ phones if somebody brings them. I know John O'Bacon, the former Ubuntu community manager, is going to be there, and he should have one, so we might steal it from him and pass it around to everybody that comes to our booth. One more reminder, we have the Ubuntu Global Jam happening this weekend. If you go to loco.ubuntu.com/events/global jam, you can get information on that. Hopefully you've all heard of this by now, though. We've been talking about it quite a bit. It's just a once-a-cycle event where we encourage people to get together in person, meet up, have fun, do something and contribute to Ubuntu. There's many, many different ways you can do that. We've got them all documented on the wiki.ubuntu.com/globaljam. It's not too late to register a team. It is too late, however, to get a jam pack. We've been giving swag packs, so CDs, DVDs, stickers, stuff like that, to any local team that was running one of these. If you haven't ordered it by now, it's too late for us to get it to you by this weekend, but we do plan on offering the same thing next cycle. But you can have a global jam without that. All you need is 2 people and a coffee shop. That's really as easy as it is. Go ahead and register your event on the Loco Team portal so that we know it's happening. Blog about it, tweet about it, use the hashtag Ubuntu so that everyone sees what you're doing. And then finally, we have a help app that the community team has launched. This is an idea that Alan came up with during one of our regular team meetings. And Daniel blogged about that. Let me go ahead and post his entry. So the idea of this is just to give an app that people can have on their phones that will explain some of the different features and the way it works and help them learn about it and navigate through it. And we're looking for contributions. So if any of you have experience with the Ubuntu phone and you enjoy writing, we can use some help getting the content put together. Daniel's got some infrastructure, some scripts and stuff in the project already that will build it into an app. So really we're looking for content and help with the styling of the app. It is an HTML5 app, so if you have any HTML5 CSS experience, we can definitely use your help with that. And that is the end of my updates, so let's go back and take some questions. Alright, so starting with Sriram. Ubuntu has a bad reputation with dual graphic card systems. My desktop gets stuck occasionally. I get it's a driver issue. How is Ubuntu team planning to solve the problem? Because it is a driver issue and most of these cards have proprietary drivers, there's really not a whole lot that we can do. I hope that the switch to Mir will eventually fix that because it does simplify both the display server and the driver model, and hopefully we'll get some better support from the proprietary drivers as well as the open source drivers for things like that. For more technical discussions on that than I can give, I suggest you go to #ubuntu-devel, and either they can help you there or they can point you in a better direction than that. Alan, Lucas, I don't suppose either of you guys have any specific insight on this issue, do you?
No, it's, X.
Yeah, I would poke either on Ubuntu Devel or Ubuntu Desktop. So this seems to be desktop related as well.
Yeah, I stick with a single Intel GPU, no problems.
I wouldn't go that far.
Well, I haven't had problems anyway.
Okay, so stick with an Intel GPU, call yourself Michael, and sit in Florida, and you don't have problems.
No, just buy a Lenovo X220. That's it.
Yeah, that's what I've got, and they're not as perfect as I would like them to be, unfortunately. But
no,
it's certainly
nice,
a lot easier than if you've got Bumblebee or AMD
Yeah.
or something.
All right. DS McGuire asks, will the Ubuntu Touch apps be in 15.04 on Unity 7 by default?
No.
I think the web browser app might be installed by default, but that would be the only one.
Yeah.
You won't be able to use the Click Store on Unity 7, and the reason for that is because the Click Store assumes that apps running on your device cannot see what other apps are doing. And if they're running under Unity 7 and X, we can't guarantee that because X lets any app see any inputs from any other app. So we chose not to make the store available to desktops running X. So you're going to have to wait for Unity 8 for that to be available. All right, TextBob, will there be the possibility to run Android apps, or at least the possibility for third-party devs to implement something like that? It's possible. I mean, there's things like Alien Dalvik, which is a closed source solution that can probably be made to work. It's not where we're focused. It's not really what we want to invest in. We want to make sure that writing native Ubuntu apps is as easy as possible and get more of those written instead of trying to just be a way to run Android apps. All right, Joe Master, will Ubuntu Phone from Meizu be sold in Europe? I know it's going to be sold in China. I think maybe in Europe, but I'm not entirely sure on that. Yeah.
That's not our decision. That's up to them.
Do they sell any of their phones in Europe currently?
I don't know.
I don't either. I'm in North America, and I know they don't sell any phones over here, so I'm sad. All right, DS McGuire again. I have an Ubuntu Touch app that passes the automatic tests and gets uploaded to the store. However, it doesn't boot on a device. Who do I talk to about this issue? Well, if it's an issue with the store or the test, you can talk to Martin Albacetti. His nick is Buno on IRC. But there's all kinds of things that could cause that. So usually if you test it on a device, if you launch it from the Ubuntu SDK on a device or on the emulator, and it works there, then it should work when somebody installs it from the store. So I don't think that has anything to do with the automatic tests. And as I mentioned in IRC to DS McGuire, the test that the store does just makes sure that your package is well formed and that it is safe to install. It doesn't check functionality, it doesn't make sure that the app actually works, just that there's no risk to the user in installing it. So it sounds like there's something else going on, possibly a permissions issue that for some reason didn't crop up during testing. That would be my guess. You can go to #ubuntu-app-devel here on Freenode, and we can help you with that. I suspect DS McGuire knew that already, but for anybody else who wants help with their app, you can find us, both people from Canonical and people from the community, in that IRC channel just about any time to help you. We've also got Google Plus and Facebook pages where you can get help also. All right, Davmore2 asks, where are the rest of the team to talk about their bits? I don't know where they are. I would imagine some of them are getting ready for the BQ release that's happening this week.
I know there's two sprints going on at the moment. There's a cloud sprint in one location, and there's a desktop Mir sprint going on in another location.
Well, that would take care of 3 or 4 people that are usually on here, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so hopefully we'll have some of those back for the next broadcast. Arcagius, any plans for other phone brands than BQ or Meizu? Not that I'm aware of, no. I know there's been talks going on with a bunch of different ones. You're just going to have to wait until something's announced, really, to find out about that. I don't have any specific insight in it, so it's not like I'm keeping any information private right now. I'm sure we'll be announcing some at some point soon. We're just going to have to wait and see. Right now, we're all focused and going full speed on BQ. Very soon, we're going to be full speed getting these Meizu devices ready to go and make sure that our images are stable on those. So that's where all of our engineering focus is right now. All right. I don't see any other questions. So I guess we'll go ahead and wrap this up early. Again, keep an eye out for those phones to actually start being public, and find out if anyone near you's got one, and you can go track them down and play with it. Davmore asks, how excited are you all right now? I think we're all very, very excited. We're on that border edge between really, really excited and really, really exhausted. So probably after the BQ phones start selling, we're probably all going to go dead for a little while to try and recover, because it has been kind of a mad dash the past few months, really. But yeah, we're all very, very excited. All right, we will go ahead and wrap this up now. You can ask us questions at any time on #Ubuntu Touch, #Ubuntu App Devel, #Ubuntu Desktop, or #Ubuntu Desktop, or #Ubuntu Devel. Anytime, depending on what kind of question it is. You can follow us for more of these updates at Ubuntu On Air on YouTube, youtube.com/Ubuntu On Air, and also Twitter at Ubuntu On Air. If you go to ubuntuonair.com, there's a Google Calendar where you can subscribe and see what upcoming broadcasts there are. We got one question in under the wire, so we'll go ahead and take it. Tux Bob is asking, do you know about famous Android apps being ported to Ubuntu Touch? No, I don't. I know some apps that have an Ubuntu Touch equivalent, but aren't necessarily ports coming from the original source. One more question. You guys are getting these in late. You should get these in earlier. Archegis, some people told me that Ubuntu was the Windows of Linux. How representative of Ubuntu could this sentence be? I suppose that really...
Troll to me.
What?
Sounds like a trolley comment to me.
It really depends on the context and how it was asked. I mean, if it means, we're the version of Linux that is, the most used and pays a lot of attention to usability and what users want, and making sure that things like Netflix and Steam they can get on Ubuntu. If they mean it that way, in kind of a positive way like that, then I would say it's pretty accurate. But that's not usually how that kind of question is asked, so probably Alan is more correct. It sounds like just somebody trolling. A lot of people don't like stuff being popular and successful. So if that's the case, just smile and nod, give him a little pat on the head, and move along. Alrighty. Thank you, Alan. Thank you, Lucas, for coming on. Thank you, everybody on IRC, for your questions. And we will see you back again in 2 weeks. Take care.
See ya.